Let's take a look.
Greetings and welcome to this new guide video slash testing video. This will be the part 2 video to my previous one, the 2D Orky video. So if you haven't watched that, I would recommend it because a lot of the things I'm going to be covering in this video are basically built upon the things I showed off on the previous video. So some of this stuff might be a bit confusing if you haven't seen the previous video. I'm going to be looking at this specific situation here. Once again, it's what I showed in the previous video. And yeah, let's just get into it. So as you just saw there, if you cancel the teleport, not necessarily as early as possible, but very quickly, it puts you just outside of throw range, so you can potentially go for some throw whiff punishes. Basically like a spacing trap, how you can do this with Testament, right? You can do like close slash, close slash into a close slash, and that's kind of like a throw bait kind of thing, right? You can kind of do a similar thing with the 2D Orky. Basic punish conversion, big damage. Right, they get strong on the throw, they lose 226 health. Can't go wrong with that. Right, and you can go for the safe jump stuff if you don't want to go for a wall break there. The safe jump stuff hasn't really changed much this season. It's pretty much the same as it was previous seasons, so you can do like the double overhead, single overhead low, single overhead throw, right, fake overhead nothing, go low. Right, something like that. Instead of the close S, you can go for a throw or whatever you want. I don't think throws are a particularly good counter to this because you have just block string options. 1 second. Right, you got the block string options, so if you're really worried about throws, you can just kind of bypass it entirely. Kind of mucked that one up, but it does work. Yeah. Right. Haven't got him set to crouch block, so that's going to hit. 1 sec, mucked it up again. Yeah, that's going to hit. But as you can tell, if you're really worried about throws here, you can just go for the block string option and bypass it entirely. As for the delayed teleports, it's a bit more tricky to beat the throws if you're delaying the teleport, since you're not as plus, right? But there is a specific timing there where you can do it and counter hit him for going for the throw, like that. You still have time to backdash, right? So you can, if you're really worried about doing a delayed teleport and having the close slash, lose to the throw, you can go for a backdash and try go for a whiff punish. Right, whatever whiff punish you want to go for. Something like that. So that is an option as well if you're a bit worried about mucking up the timing. You do have a different option if it's a bit tight. As for the cross-up option, if you go for kind of your standard... Oh, that's not the cross-up option. If you go for your standard throw, it's kind of difficult to punish. Yeah, as you saw there, he actually punished the teleport, so you can't beat it there. However, there is an option. Right? So, if you delay it just minutely enough to, you know, I don't know what the end of the combo is there, but if you delay it just enough to basically let him throw and whiff, you can teleport behind and whiff punish. go for a side swap like this for a big combo. Holy moly, that does more damage than I was expecting. 247. Something like that. That one's a bit easier, but you don't get a hard knockdown like you do on the other one. You can go with something like that for an easier side swap combo. Not as much damage, but it's easier to do and it guarantees the hard knockdown. Alright, so I'm going to have a look at the close slash now. If you'd like to go for super, you can go for this route. Just basically swap HS Reaper for S Reaper, and you get that. Or you can go for that route, whichever you prefer, whichever's easier. Doesn't really make much of a difference. They do similar-esque damage, I think. Well, anyway, you'll see the numbers on screen anyway, so you can pick whichever one you like. As you can see, Close S creates a very similar spacing trap situation as the 5k does. Right, something very basic like that. Or you can do something like that if you have resource. You might be seeing a lot of similarities between the close slash in this video and the 5k in the previous video, and for the most part they're exactly the same. It's just that this is slightly slower, so you have to be a bit more precise with your timing. Not too much, but it is there. And this button is slightly more plus on block, so it's better for pressure, and it has better frame trap options, right, with 5H. Other than that, they're pretty much identical for the most part, and well, I guess the main options is obviously the Kara cancel stuff, whether you want to do frame traps from it or not. I guess you can technically do frame traps with the Kara cancel close slash. Let's just see if I can. I'm up at the timing. Yeah, you can do frame traps with this as well. You just got to do a slightly charged Reaper. So they're very similar. I guess the 5k has more range, but in this scenario it really doesn't, it's not really much of a factor. So this is probably the preferred button to use if you can get good with the timing, just because of the better pressure options. I'll have a look at the frame trap stuff to see what you can get with that. Something like that with a 2S frame trap. Not bad damage, 200, or just over 200. Something like this, I hope. Yes, that worked. 202 damage. You can do something like this with a 5H frame trap. And you can do something like that for a HS Grave Reaper frame trap. You can do either regular HS Grave Reaper, you know, just like a slightly charged one, or you can do the Kara cancel if you really want to, but you don't need to do the Kara cancel there when you're near the wall. Or you can do something like this when you're not near the wall. Right, pretty good corner carry. Right, or you can go for something like that for an easy setup into pressure. Or instead of doing the safe jump, you might want to like pull up and do a Reaper or something like that. Your choice. Or you can do something like that off of a 2S frame trap. And you can do something similar to that for your HS Grave Reaper frame trap. Alright, so now that we've covered most of the block strings and the block strings into frame traps and the frame traps into frame traps into frame traps and the counters to certain defensive options the opponent has to beat these, I want to cover some of the options you can use when the opponent starts to block. And the first and obvious one is throws. This links back into the throw video I made a couple days ago. I'll cover the basic ones that you can do from here, but if you want a more thorough look at the throw stuff, I recommend go watching that video, as it's more thorough than what I'm going to show in this video. But the basic stuff is as follows. Safe jump. Low, right, low overhead. That throw, the 2H there is what? It's at least plus. Oh god, I forgot the frame data. It's at least plus. What's the 2K? It's at least plus 6. So when you do this, 2K is a true block string. Again, go watch the throw video. I go into it a bit more in depth than what I am here. But what you can also do is 5K for a frame trap, and once they start to respect you there, because of those options, you go for another throw. So it's getting quite complex. There's a lot of different options you can do from this, just to really play mind games with your opponent. But yeah, those are pretty much the throw options you can go with. Right, just another example of the different options you have. Just weave between them, be unpredictable, be a menace, basically. Right, so aside from throws, what else can you do to take advantage of your opponent blocking here? You can do the side swaps. Now, as you can see, I've set Saul to back walk on wake up, so he will block the projectile. And now I will show some of the mix-up stuff you can do here. So you can stay same side as well. So basically, when you get this, you can either stay in front and do pressure, or you can cross up for a mix-up, right? And if this hits, you can cross up again, or stay same side. And with this mix-up here, if you cross up or stay same side and you hit him again, it loops back into itself and you can just snowball like crazy doing this. Right, stay same side. Same side, right, if that hits, you go back into it and then you do the teleport again, depending on what side you want to go on. Again, I have a different video going over that and showing all the, not all of the different alterations to how you can do this, but there's quite a few, and it's pretty much just a guessing game from what I can tell. I don't think there's any way they can reliably tell what side you're going to show up on, so left-right mix-ups when they're blocking, which is going to condition them to mash, which leads back into your frame traps and your block strings and yada yada yada. You kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Just options on top of options on top of options, just to make this very tricky to deal with. Alright, the last thing I'll cover in this video before I bring it to an end is this. Unholy Diver PRC into teleport. Unfortunately, I have tested this. Unfortunately, this is not a cross-up. That's not a cross-up, they can block that. But you are plus, so you can take your turn there and use the Stay and Stay proc for either pressure on block or combos on hit. So I'll quickly go over this and show some options you can do. Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. So the fast PRC Unholy Diver into possession on cross-up is plus enough to block string into close slash. That's different from the regular one, you know, like the regular 2D, right, into the cross-up. Because this one, if you hit a button here, 9 times out of 10, in my experience from testing, you lose to throw. But the other one can generate a true block string, which means it must be more plus on cross-up than the standard version. And going off the frame data, it must be at least +8 on block to be able to true block string into the close slash. You can do something like that to keep the stay in state, you know, continue pressure. And you can stay same side and do that. The same side isn't anywhere near as plus as the cross-up by the looks of it. The only option I have that I can find that beats the 5k Sol's 3-frame normal is 2p, which is Testament's fastest button, and I believe it's 5 frames. It's also a lot more tricky to time, right? If you do the this as quickly as possible, it crosses up. But if you do it, bad inputs. But if you do it too slowly, it doesn't come out at all. You say you don't move. So there's a very small window there that allows you to stay same side. But again, it's not as plus. My execution with this isn't very good, so you might be able to use bigger normals here. I'm not too sure on the frame data to be specific, so as of right now, from my limited testing, the only option I can find that works to be 3-frame normals is 2p. And go for pressure that way. And go for pressure that way if you want. Or you can do something like that for a wall break. Right, something like that, basic pressure, loop the stay in state. And you can go for a safe jump, something like that. And as you just saw, you can do pretty much the same route if you stay same side and do the 2p. It has quite a lot of corner carry actually, a lot more than I expected. There we go, something like that. So if they're just, you know, waking up and hitting buttons there, you can do a slightly delayed Unholy Dive and hit them out of it, and then go for a teleport for a combo. I'm going to look into this a little bit further and see if there's any more applications of it in other situations and off of this situation here specifically. If there is, I'll make a follow-up video going over this specific mechanic, but It won't be in this video, obviously, because this video is getting very long and I need to bring it to an end before it gets too long. I actually think it's longer than the previous one. But as you can see from the stuff I've shown in this video and the previous one, you have a hell of a lot of options here that you can pick from to make your offense just very unpredictable and difficult to deal with. So I think this is going to be a staple, honestly, of at least my testament. Just do this, not that, but you know, the teleport stuff. I think this is going to be very strong and particularly useful on Testament. But with that being said, I will bring this video to an end. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.